Let's go in with an intro, all right?
Did you have anything in
Welcome,
mind for the album?
welcome to the. Hey, I was just jumping in, okay? I was jumping in. You interrupted me.
I don't. Well, I'm
Hey,
glad I
hey,
interrupted that. I'm glad I interrupted that. Jeez, what was that?
All right, this is the intro now. Fuck it. I'm not gonna do a proper intro. You fucked it up. This is the intro now. I'm leaving this in. I'm gonna have the scuffed intro. Scuffed.
Oh no, you got editing power. I can't fix that. So we just had session 47. Yep.
Yeah.
47, and it was mostly combat. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
95%, 90%.
I'd say a good 75 to 80%.
75?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess there were a few role play bits.
Yeah. But it was mostly combat. So
Yeah. Overall,
We
what did
haven't-
you think?
I thought it was good. I thought the combat didn't drag on too much. It felt pretty short, I think. And it was pretty good combat. It was pretty fun combat as well. We had some pretty high numbers, nice rolls. Everything players enjoy about a good combat is rolling high and doing
Pretty high numbers.
big deeps.
There was one very big number. We'll talk about the ruling about that later. Do you want to do a recap or should I?
Yeah, you go ahead with the recap.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. So last time we left off, the whole crew was stashed in the cargo hold. Well, I guess most of the crew was stashed in the cargo hold of Igmar's ship, which you still don't know the name of. You all were chilling for a while. You guys land at what's like temple ruins where the drug deal, the spice deal is gonna go down. Igmar gets off with Ryan. They do a little dance. They figure out whatever, and then they start the trade. The party inside the cargo hold decides to hide away while the thugs come on and unload all the cargo. So they manage to all escape into the darkness, into the far side of the ship. Thugs come on, they grab the cargo, they get off, they start walking back, and then they are attacked. They are ambushed by sand raiders or something of the sort, which you guys don't know what they are yet. These Yuan T riding bullets that kind of jump out of the sand and start attacking. And now it's like a three faction fight. You got pirates, you got the party, and you got these sand raiders. That combat goes for how long would you say? Like an hour-ish? Maybe less.
About an hour, I guess.
Yeah. The party decides to kind of stick back for a round. Ryan's trying to defend Igmar's life by shooting at these bullets, doing like 60 damage in the first hit. 60 damage in this first hit.
First round damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Eventually the party steps in after a few of the pirates die. They fucking wipe the floor with these bullets, which was kind of expected, yeah. And after that goes down, the pirate captain guy, he goes down into the ruins to go pick up a little engineer, which turns out to be Eliwick. He comes back out, half the pirates are dead, half the pirates are running, and the Yuan T riders, or what's left of them, get scared and start retreating into the sand because they feel something coming. And this giant purple worm comes out of the sand and pretty much devours the whole of the pirate ship on the other side of the temple ruins. Everyone's like, oh shit, what do we do? Some people are like, we need to stay, we got some shit here to do, but most people are like, yo, we gotta go right now. Combat ends there, and they have a lengthy discussion on what they should do. The argument here, I think it was mostly Oasis who didn't want to go down into the ruins, because Eliwick was like, we need to stay here, there's some shit we need to do in the ruins. And Oasis was like, nah. We got so much on our plate, I don't want extra food. I'm full, right?
Yeah, well, it didn't make much sense because she argued that this was a side of a side objective, which it wasn't. It was a lead up to one of the main of the mains, which yeah, it kind of boggled my mind a little bit that she didn't understand that this could lead us to the Oathbreaker, which was the whole reason why we came to the desert in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't know what she was thinking, but no, we eventually convinced her to come down anyway. So.
Yeah, I think she was mostly confused by because you needed Eliwick for a side objective, which was to get Kragen's arm back, and I think she was honing on that and forgot about the Oathbreaker bit.
Well, yeah. At first, I would probably believe that, but I did mention multiple times that she was, well, and other people did as well, that she was a part of the vision, which was about the Oathbreaker, and she said herself, Eliwick, the character, that she's looking for the Oathbreaker when we first met her. Like, that was probably her first line. And then I reminded her, this is leading up to the Oathbreaker. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there, but it all resolved itself in the end.
Yeah. I think her whole thing is that she doesn't give a damn about the Vision Oasis. Like she can just kind of completely disregards it and whatever happened into it. So she's kind of shoving that in some far corner of her mind. That was my take on that. I think yeah, you guys eventually persuade her to go into the ruins with the allure of what would you say, puzzles
Oh, you did.
or riddles?
You did. You did. Eventually, you said that. Oh, Eliwick mentioned that there was some puzzle, and we were all like, "Yeah, there's a puzzle."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Damn, damn."
Yeah, so Oasis takes a swig of the wine that Storm always has on him, and they all kind of venture back down into these temple ruins, leaving the pirates behind, or what's left of the pirates behind. They go down there and they come across what seems to be some kind of puzzle room. And in this room there is 4 walls, and there's pillars kind of embedded into each wall. And in the middle is a forge or a smithy of sorts, and underneath it is a kind of like a latch trap door, and inscriptions kind of written around it. And on the inscriptions it says, oh god, do you remember what it said?
I do not remember what it said.
It was something a little bit edgy, a little bit,
It was like
lore-y.
on the pillars of which this
Oh, I got
plane
it.
is built.
Yeah.
Go
The
around
pillars on
and
which
you go
our
to
plane
Pound
is
Town.
spawned. No, it was nothing like Pound Town. The pillars on which our plane is spawned. To proceed, the world must be reborn.
That's close enough.
Yeah, and the party's like, what the fuck does this mean, right? There was no understanding or any sort, right?
Yeah, I know, but eventually we figured out that the 4 pillars were elements, or they were representing elements. I don't know if there was like symbols on the pillars that were denoting that, this is the air pillar,
No,
this is
those
the
were all
fire.
faded out. I made sure that they were all unremarkable. I would have thought one of you guys would have done some kind of like intelligence check to like see if like the the pillars in which our plane is spawned or whatever is some kind of like saying or they'd remember in some kind of text or anything. But I don't think it really occurred to you guys to do anything like that, honestly.
Well, look, I could argue, like, how would you expect a player to make that sort of request? Like,
No, I do
thinking
that. I
from,
do that all the time as a player.
oh, well, you do, but I mean, that's just you, right?
I feel like
Do you have
other
a
people.
history of the players of our party doing that at all?
I think Maple has once or twice, but I guess not. No.
I mean, even in that case, you don't necessarily have to wait for the players to ask. Like, you can just say, whoever has the biggest brain, Maple or whatever, you just like, Maple, can you do an intelligence check? You can just call it out like that. I've seen that done in other campaigns as well. But, that's probably if you would save that if the players are particularly stumped.
Stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were a little stumped. Um, I think. Well, the first little wall opened when Oasis approached one of the pillars, which was the pillar of water, or the element of water, or whatever you want to call it, and it kind of opens up into this room, which is just a very large pool, a very large deep pool with what seems to be a trinket or key or some sort of something down there at the bottom. Storm ends up sending a giant octopus to go fetch it and retrieve it, and it turns out to be this gem of a kind of in the shape of a water droplet or a teardrop or something. Which you all, well, actually, Storm decides to put it into the pail, the bucket, and it does kind of transform into this pail of water.
You know
did you?
that confused me because he used the bucket to get some of the water in
Yeah.
the first place, and then he dropped the gem in it, and it made more water. And I was like, oh, it does nothing. It does nothing but make more water, which
Water that
I
didn't
th-
evaporate from the pail, yeah.
oh, so the water that he scooped up
Yeah, it completely
evaporate.
gets
Okay,
evaporated, yeah.
I missed that because I
Yeah.
thought you said that like the water level in the pail like rises as like it fills up more as the thing disappears. I don't know.
No,
Um,
yeah, just as soon as you put in a like normal water source into it, it just disappeared or evaporated. But when you put in the jam, that source of water stayed inside that quenching pail. Did you have any idea where this was going at that point or not?
no, that I hadn't even realized that in that water room Oasis used to open it because it was pretty fast from entering the forge area from going into the reservoir. I just thought it was just a connecting room, honestly. So,
Ah, okay.
yeah, so I was a bit confused because I thought, okay, that blue sparkling thing at the bottom of the reservoir, that's like the blade of the Oathbreaker. Done and closed. Oh, this is a short dungeon. And then it
Yeah,
was like,
no.
oh, it's oh, you've got like a tear-shaped water droplet gem. And then I reread the pillars of the earth thing, and I immediately thought, oh, pillars of the earth. What makes up the earth? Or what was an ancient belief of the earth from the real world? The elements. It was made up from four elements, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's an element thing. And then the other players had a similar idea. So and then it quickly fell into place. The players went on and like casted an element on the pillars, and they opened
Yeah.
up, and that it was pretty quick from there, at least for this
Yeah.
room.
So I think Maple threw fire bolts at the pillars. Ryan blew on one of the pillars, and someone else threw sand on another pillar, and they all just kind of opened up. So it was fire, water, earth, and air.
Uh huh.
Um, so you guys went to the fire one next, I believe. That opens up, and you send in Tokul, fully buffed, fully hasted, fully long strided, moving what 80 feet in 6 seconds, and it's down the 60-foot hallway that's covered in flames. He kind of runs in, runs out. He takes 42 fire damage, which is then reduced to 10 fire damage.
Well, it's reduced by half because he has fire resistance
Yep.
as a dragonborn.
And
Then
Maple used a spell to
yeah, he used.
reduce
I think
damage.
he like converted his mage armor to take a certain amount of damage
That's
from
cool.
Turgle. So yeah, from 42 to 10,
Yeah,
41.
it's 42 to like 11, I think. Yeah, which is nothing because he heals that up right after as well, which was astonishing to me. I mean, I expected a large drop in damage. I didn't expect that much.
You didn't
Um,
expect a dragonborn to be useful. Oh man, Toko had a lot of
Good
uh,
moments.
good moments in this one. A
I
lot of
think
good
everyone
moments.
had a lot of good moments. Would you say so?
Uh, I think Snow only had the crit going for him, but I think everyone else had pretty good moments.
I
Not
mean,
that
on that level, yeah, the crit. Yeah, actually, yeah,
but I think
yeah.
everyone else had really good. Like I don't mind just getting the crit. The crit felt good, but
God, no,
everyone
that's a
else
crit.
getting a chance to shine is good. I'm happy. I'm happy with that as well.
That's some big damage this round. You guys get what seems to be like an orb of fire or a gemstone of an orb of fire. You play hot potato with it, and then Snow bats it into the furnace, the forge, and that lights up. You go into the air room next. Yeah, the air room, which is just this large kind of like a ravine or a gap in the floor, where there's spikes at the bottom, and this wispy kind of gemstone cloud of air is just kind of floating 60 feet in the air above it. Oasis turns into a giant eagle, great eagle.
Giant eagle.
She snatches it out of the air, kind of returns, and sticks to her bird form for a while, which is uh, it opened up to a little role play. After that, you guys go into the Earth room, which is very similar to a very old, no, not very old, maybe 30 sessions ago, where you guys went into that Necropolis temple, and there was a rolling boulder test of Herculean
Yeah,
strength or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Very similar to that, where this giant boulder rolls down a hill into a gap, and then another boulder rolls down. Blah blah blah. It's kind of like Dark Soulsy, I guess. You know the boulder rooms in
yeah.
Dark
Like
Souls.
in Sen's Fortress,
Yeah,
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 the
like that.
first one, yeah.
And this what seems to be some kind of metal or copper ingot, not ingot, ore is kind of lodged at the bottom of the gap in which the boulder falls through. And Maple gets a time to shine here by using Wall of Force to stop the boulder from rolling all the way down, which was a really cool use of it. I didn't expect that. Um, and there's this whole subplot of Maple trying to
Mm.
impress Ellie. I don't know where this came from. I'm
Oh,
okay with it.
it all
I mean,
stemmed from the message that Maple sent to
the
Eliwick
weirdly
last,
sexual
which I don't think he,
sending
yeah, I don't think he really meant
intended.
for it to turn out that way, but I think he just enjoyed going along with it, and then he saw a picture of Eliwick, and he's like, "Hey, Eliwick, kind of hot,"
Got
and
some
so,
gnome X elf fan fiction.
yeah, there was this whole subplot about Maple like having a bit of a crush on Eliwick, and yeah, he's just trying to impress her with
Various feats.
various feats, somewhat
Yeah,
somewhat
he tries to
unsuccessful.
impress
Yeah.
her, but it didn't really work out for him. I think what did he get, like a natural one on the performance
I
check?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, not so hot. Storm climbs down there, picks up the ore, comes back out, and you guys all enter the forge room, and you all imbue the elements into the forge. Fire is for obviously the fire, I guess. The water was for the quenching pail, and the air was for the bellows. And the ore is obviously you melt it down, and pour it into the template for a key. Storm steps up to do it, but then he gets shoved aside by Eliwick, who who says she is much more experienced at this kind of thing.
I think
So
Storm
the
was
party,
relieved of that because
yeah,
I think Storm stepped up because no one else wanted to step up. So
yeah, classic. So Eliwick goes at it for maybe 10, 15 minutes in game time, and after a while, you guys end up with a freshly made brownish key, which is you, I guess, metaphorically reforging the world or making the world reborn by using all the elements to create something, which is a nice little metaphorical touch.
mm, mm.
Um, you guys put the key in, and then it opens up to a very large chamber downstairs, 100 by 100 feet, and it's the large chamber downstairs is divided into four quadrants with large pillars extending from, I guess, floor to ceiling, very similar to the ones above, and in the middle is this, I guess, like a diamond-shaped stone. What would you call it? Like a little monument, or I don't know.
Mm, I'm not too
For
sure.
word
Like
for
an
that?
obelisk, obelisk.
Yeah, yeah. There you go, obelisk. Yeah, and it's got inscriptions like indented into it. Tokul, I forgot to mention the all the inscriptions in the previous room as well were written in Celestial, and I think
Yeah,
only Tokul can read Celestial in this
yeah,
party.
because of his. I think it was either
Noble
his
trait.
noble background.
Yeah, so he got his linguistic. Actually, he also got to flex his draconic before earlier.
Oh yeah, with
With
the
the riders, the
one
one T
T
riders.
riders. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Maple also knows draconic as well. Um, yeah, so he gets to go up and read these. And the next one says, "Knowledge you seek, I will bestow. Beware the most primordial foe, as above, so below." Um, and then you all kind of get the gist of this. At least Storm was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be elementals or whatever." Did you get that from this weirdly
No,
cryptic?
no.
No.
I'm not a puzzle guy. Like it like if I think on it hard and long enough, it'll click, but I'm not like yeah, I'm not a big puzzle guy. Like I try my hand at puzzle games and I usually quit after a couple of levels because I'm that bad at puzzles.
Okay, so I like some like I think a few members of the party were just like, oh yeah, as above so below, the blah blah blah, the pillars correspond to the ones in the upper floor. Primordial foe looks like there's gonna be elementals or something. Yeah, so that was it was good. They're just using brain power.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and so you guys figured out you have to activate all the pillars simultaneously, which we'll just kind of skip over, which you all do. You do very, very similar things, throwing firebolts, blowing on them, throwing sand at them. Oasis just kind of being in near proximity of the water one. And as you guys activate these things, these, I guess, would you call them hazardous terrain of some sort? They kind of spawn out of the ground around the pillars in their quadrants. For example, the fire one, these flame vents kind of pop open from the ground and spit fire out of them. The air one is like gusts of wind kind of like popping out. The water one was a large kind of pool of water, and the earth one was just these really like, I guess, mud or like a quagmire, which slows down the player by slows down the character by a lot. They actually didn't come into play like at all, right?
Yeah, I think only the air and the earth one were like, I think Storm and Maple got slowed for a little bit when they were
Yeah.
fighting the earth guy. I think Snow, when he got flung by the air elemental, had to roll a save. That's all I remember for that. I don't think anything happened for the water one, and I don't think anything happened for the fire one either.
No.
I think Oasis just friggin' tanked both of them and killed both of them. Like, just stomped two elementals all by herself, pretty much.
Yeah, so Oasis has a spell called Tidal Wave, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
tidal wave.
And it summons this literal tidal wave of water, which kind of gushes at the enemy and does, I think it was like 3d8 or something, or 3d12. A
Yeah.
lot of damage. And fire elementals have this thing called, I think it's called like elemental weakness or elemental susceptibility or something, where for each gallon of water that is splashed onto a fire elemental, they take 1 cold damage. And so we have a lengthy math discussion of how many gallons of water is within a single tidal wave. Um, do you remember the number that
It
we
was
used?
around 168,000 gallons of water, which is huge.
So in technicality and mechanically, the fire and elemental takes 168,000 cold damage, right? Is that's how I rolled it at least,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
the no one's gonna beat that, right? No one is ever gonna beat that much damage
yeah.
ever.
I don't think Oasis is ever gonna beat that because that's such a specific moment, right? Like, there's no way. There's just no way she's gonna be able to have the perfect conditions to replicate that again. But yeah, there was so much damage that we had to go into our old Hall of Fame channel that we haven't touched since last year
Oh,
and
the Hall of Fame.
update the numbers there. So now
Oh my lord.
she holds the first place for most damage in a round and most damage in a single attack, with the runner up of Snow, who gets a crit later on in the battle for 89 damage, which is also crazy,
But overshadowed by.
but overshadowed by the monumental damage that was done by Oasis. But
Do you
good
think
job.
that was a correct ruling in that scenario?
Yeah, I don't have much
Yeah.
of a problem with that. I mean, a fire elemental is not going to survive a tidal wave, especially if it takes 1 damage per gallon. Yeah, I think it was fine. If it was rules as written, right? We didn't actually make a home ruling on that. It was rules as written.
Yeah, there was no rule of cool there. That wasn't homebrew at all. So mechanically, I guess that would be. I mean, you could argue that not the whole tidal wave splashed onto the fire elemental, so it would have
Yeah.
been a portion of 168,000, but that still would have insta killed it, right? Um, yeah, from a mechanical rules of written standpoint, I think that is a perfectly fair ruling, and you would agree
Yep.
with that?
Yep. I would agree.
Yeah. So something similar happens a bit little later, where Oasis uses create or destroy water on the water elemental, and now this, as rules is written, that you can't do that because like even I checked, I googled it like during combat, and even the author of the book, Jeremy Crawford, he replied to someone on Twitter about the question. He said no, you can't do that because technically the water elemental is a creature, and you can't use that on a creature.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I don't really agree with that. It's made of water. You should be able to get rid of the water. I think the
yeah,
way we ruled it is fine. Is actually fine. It's
yeah,
better. Makes more sense to me.
yeah. I hope the rest of the party agreed with that ruling. I mentioned explicitly during the ruling that I was like, mechanically you can't do this, but it's a really fucking cool and creative idea, so why not? I don't think there were any major disagreements with that. Did you see anybody who
No,
was like,
no,
eh?
no disagreements. No disagreements. I don't remember seeing anyone disagreeing with that. We were all fighting the
Okay,
elementals anyway to fuck up the elementals. It's fine, fine by us.
yeah. And I just decided a gallon of water would just be one damage, which sounds fine, right? Because
Yeah,
destroy decay water,
that also
level one
sounds
spell,
fine.
that's 10 gallons of 10 damage.
Yeah,
But then
and
she
also
decides to cast it at 5th level.
yeah, yeah. So there was 60 gallons that she was destroying, just going poof, gone, and the water elemental died. And I think the water elemental was also in combat with Ryan and a couple others
Yeah,
during
it
this
was
time. So
already pretty hurt.
it was already weakened, but Oasis got the last hit, got the gold from the last hit.
Yeah, she got the EXP, got the gold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And props to Oasis actually for and Zoe too, the player, for being so creative in combat. And I think this is another one of those moments that, like, yeah, she's in, she's in, you know what I mean? She's in.
yeah, I definitely, I watched her kind of like go through her spell. She was just fucking staring at her laptop, like going through all her spells that whole time. She had a few very creative ideas throughout that whole thing. Um, which was great. It was really good to see. Really good to see. Like I was a little afraid she
Yeah.
wouldn't be that into combat, but yeah, looks like everyone is in. Right? Would you say so?
Yeah,
In
I
combat?
think I think now she's really starting to grasp how combat works and like using her spells and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I think before it was just purely because she didn't know what the hell was going on. So that's why her effectiveness was not as good. But now her effectiveness is up. It's up 1,000% above all the other players.
Yeah, it's a lot. A little before she destroyed the water elemental, you do your insane critical attack hiding behind a pillar. You roll a natural 20, and the way we do critical rolls, I'm sure we've mentioned this before, is I'm not going to explain it. It just does a butt ton more damage than a
Well,
normal crit would do.
I can try and explain it
Okay,
in
you
in,
try.
in the least complex fashion as possible because I do it a lot for the other players.
Yep.
So basically, for each damage dice, and I do mean each damage dice, sneak attack included, you roll it twice. So with advantage, you take the highest roll, then you add the maximum value that you would get from that dice. So for example, for Snow's bow attack, he has a D8 for his bow itself, and then he has his 5 D6 dice. So for his D8, he would roll that twice, and then he would add 8 to that, whatever the highest value was. Let's say it was 7, so 7 plus 8 was 15. And then, obviously, I'm not going to go through all the sneak attack dice, but for the sneak attack dice, for each one, you would roll with advantage, take the highest value, then add 6, and then rinse and repeat 5 times for the other dice, right?
Yep.
And then, on top of that, you add your modifier. So, damage can get pretty crazy at that point. And I love it because it's a lot better than doubling the dice. Although it's simpler and quicker, it is just far. It just falls far below the damage you could get in this system, which is, I think, is far more satisfying once you get the hang of it. And I'm surprised that Lewis actually, like, he was clicking in his head how it was working, because in the end he was counting for me, and I was losing count, and he's like, hey, I'll count for you. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy moment. And on top of that, I had unseen attacker, so I didn't even roll with advantage. I keep forgetting to roll with advantage with unseen attacker. So yeah, it was crazy, and I think the total damage was 89 damage, which is, besides Oasis's massive tidal wave, is the second highest recorded damage in a single attack and a round, respectively.
It was some dumb damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but But I think Ryan, if he gets a couple of crits on, if he gets a single crit on any of his massive barrages, he'll overshadow that easily.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think you guys are kind of even in damage in the crit department because if he wants to kind of match you, he'd have to roll multiple crits in one turn. You only have to roll one crit, right? Because you're only doing one attack.
Yeah, but
So
I only have
yeah,
one attack.
that's
Though.
true. That
Yeah.
is true. Yeah, the reason we implement that rule, I think we agreed on this at the start, is that just rules as written, plays handbook crits are just kind of garbage, right? You
Yeah.
just double the dice, and even if you double the dice, there's still a chance you would do less damage than like what
A
you
normal
roll with a
attack.
normal dice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that just seems so absurd to us at the time. And this seems like a much beefier, more brutal alternative to it. Um, I think there's definitely balance issues with it. I'm not gonna lie, there's balance issues with it. Especially when it comes to stuff like, well, this isn't gonna happen, but the barbarian has this thing called brutal criticals or something, where they can
Mm-hmm.
add extra damage to their critical attacks, and that just fucking throws everything overboard. Plus, you have feats that allow you to crit on 19 and 20 or
Mm.
stuff like that, which it lends more advantage to people who rely on crits more, so like barbarians and stuff. But I'm not too concerned about balance issues, and I don't think the players are either. Would you agree?
Yeah, for a fifth percentile, for a 5% chance at a crit, it should be big. Like,
Yeah,
and we don't get crits every session. And we don't get combat every session for that matter. So when you get a crit, especially for the scarcity of combat that we have in our campaign, it should feel good. It should feel good that you landed the one number that allows you to do fuck off damage. It should feel good. Okay, that's my argument. It should feel good, and it does feel good.
yeah, I agree. And you fuck up that elemental in one shot. He gets one shot. That guy. Rest in peace, air elemental. Yeah, so you guys at that point get rid of 3 elementals, and there's only one elemental left, which is this earth elemental, which kind of skulks around in the ground. It hits somebody, then kind of phases back into the mud. Storm, Storm and Maple come up with this idea. Storm polymorphs into a giant ape, and waits, hands stretched for this earth elemental to kind of climb back out of the mud, and he prepares an action to grapple it and pull it out of the ground. And Maple's nearby. He casts Shadow Blade, which is this really cool fucking spell.
Yeah, can you describe Shadow Blade?
I don't think I could do it to the justice that, because Maple, the player, he describes all the spells he does in like a really cool fashion, which is kind of unique to him, because I don't think anyone else really describes the way they attack that often, which we should probably encourage more because it looks really cool.
Yeah, I did notice that, which I thought was really good. I did try to do that a little bit because Snow got flung by the air elemental, and I kind of flavored that because my turn was right after that, so I kind of flavored that as he was being flung, he did like a combat roll, and then like he rolled back up and like in a firing position with his bow and shot back. So I tried to do it a little bit, but obviously that's not as cool as casting a dark magic sword from the ether.
Yeah, I think it was something along the lines of like scraping shadows together and like, I guess like brushing it onto like in the shape of a sword or something, which is fucking sick. I don't know. Yeah, so he waits in position with that, and then Ryan moves into position, and eventually the earth elemental pops out of the ground, and Storm, as the giant ape, makes a grapple check against it, wins, pulls it out of the ground like a carrot. You know how people pull carrots out of the ground, or like a potato or some shit? And he pulls it out of the ground, he's holding it with both hands, and fucking Maple starts wailing on it with the Shadow Blade. It was actually quite a bit of damage, like 30 or 20 something damage in just one
Really?
round
Well,
of
it was like
attacks.
three. It was like 3d10 damage, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is some crazy damage for like a melee spell, right?
Oh well, you have necrotic. Oh, what's that spell? It's like
Oh, the touch, something
that,
touch.
and that's
Necrotic touch or
2d10
something?
damage, and that's like, isn't that
Yeah,
like
that's a
first
level 1 spell.
Yeah, something like that. So that's
Yeah.
not that high comparatively, but
Oh
it's still
yeah,
nice
Shadow
damage.
Blade's like
It's
fourth
still
level.
nice damage. It's still nice damage.
Yeah. So he wails on it. Ryan fires a bunch of crossbow bolts at it, and everyone and Storm is shouting to the rest of the team like, let me let me have a chance at punching this dude into oblivion. And so I think Oasis kind of skips her turn, and it comes back to Storm, who I looked it up, and there's no rules regarding if you can attack what you're grappling while you're grappling it. And I ruled it such that you have one hand free, so you can kind of punch at it.
I think that's
Which
actually rules as written, because I think
really?
it says you need at least one hand to grapple it, so you have another free hand to attack it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I looked
So
that up
yeah.
afterwards because I was confused because I thought that if you had grappled a creature, anyone attacking it had advantage against it. But
No.
I don't. I think that's like that might have been another condition,
Yeah, that's
possibly.
restrained. Restrained is that. Restrained and prone. Yes, I think its speed just moves to 0, and it'd have to do another grapple check to escape. So it comes back to Storm's turn, and he does. So I think giant apes get a multi attack, and they get to use fist attacks twice, and each fist attack is 3d10 damage.
Oh,
So he fucking pummels this thing into the ground, and it fucking like explodes into little uh, clay bits that kind of fall around the room. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And as the last elemental dies, the pillars kind of dim in their color. The glyph, the obelisk in the middle, the words, the inscriptions start kind of unraveling themselves and moving around into different shapes or whatever. And I think the final message is that the city of Dawnhelm, built by the hands of the Sten, which exists above and below, or something along those lines, which is a clue to where the city of Dawnhelm is, which is where the vision, four sessions ago, 3 sessions ago, which is where the vision occurred. Or well, like, at least you guys know that the vision occurred in a place called the Vault of Dawnhelm,
mm.
which is, I don't know, maybe the same place, maybe different place, who knows. Yeah, so now you guys have a clue to the next location you guys have to go to.
Mm.
Um, so
The
that was
prof.
pretty much the whole session, just 2 combats and a little bit of roleplay.
Yeah, shorter recap. We might have a shorter podcast because of it, but yeah, well, I think it was overall for a combat session. It was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, everyone had a time to shine. Like Storm had he unveiled his brand new 10 daggers with animate objects. That was
That was
really cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Toko got to smite some people. We saw the Shadow Blade. You got the crit. Oasis fucking obliterated a water elemental. Ryan's still doing crazy ass damage. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are actually a really combat competent party. Like, like I know I'm pretty sure Maple rearranged his spells so that they were more catered to RP purposes. But he's still doing some crazy ass damage too. Like, yeah, maybe we should see combat more often. What do you think? Oh no.
I think I think it could come to play. That was really fun, but I don't think every combat is gonna be that fun. Like I don't think it's a good it's a I was gonna say a good expectation, but I don't think I can expect every combat to be as fun as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe we can have it a little bit more often now, just to see. But some part of me is thinking that like there's gonna be a combat that goes on for the entire session, and it's just gonna go on
I
and
mean,
on
it's
and
slog.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really try to avoid when we do these now. Like it's like a conscious thing where I'm like, okay, I don't want this to go too long. Maybe I'll lower AC, maybe I'll lower health or whatever. Stuff like that.
It's
Yeah.
also we also haven't had a combat in a while where it's like the party was in danger, like actually in danger. These combats were like, yeah, we're just kind of mopping up. You know what I mean? We're just kind of mopping up.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did take quite a few nasty hits this session, right?
But no one was even close to dying, right? Like I don't
I
think
think
a lot of
Ryan
people.
got pretty close. Ryan took a lot of damage that round.
Yeah, a lot of damage, but there wasn't like, yeah, he's gonna die. Actually, I did say in the session where he got consumed by the water elemental, he's like, oh wait, you could die here, because you're getting gelatinous cubed. But
And then we just
I was
refer to the water elemental as the gelatinous cube for the rest of the
I think
session.
Matt did it, and then Zoe did it, and then it was just yeah, a pseudo cube. But yeah, I didn't feel that there was a real like sense of danger, like actually stressing out, like not
Yeah.
like harkening back to the first sessions where like every combat we were like stressing out because it
Yeah, I
was
think that lends more to the fact that you guys had like 10 health max at those points. And now everyone has like 40, 50 health or something along those lines. I think the danger in combat, or the life-threatening situations in combat, comes from not single combat. It comes from prolonged chains of multiple combat, and that kind of clashes against the overall campaign expectations of pretty hefty roleplay. Like, for example, having three large battles in a row without any short rest, or maybe just like one short rest in between. That's how you get into those life-threatening situations. Like your wizards are out of spells, and you kind of have to depend more on the fighters or whatnot. That those situations don't really arise when we do the campaign as we do, because we want to kind of like what's the word, cut down on combat. So situations like that don't really happen, and that's the issue, right? Where it's not as life threatening, right? Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
I guess you could also like if you really wanted to have something like that, you can have the combat like be sequential. You can have a bunch of combats. Maybe not in the same session, but over a bunch of sessions, and the party's in a situation where we can't fully rest. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
in the vision, it's implied that because we're at third level exhaustion, a lot of the spellcasters have used up their spells. It's implied that we've been fighting for a while and without rest. So again, doesn't have to be in the same session where we're like going one after the other. It couldn't be like big fight, we have to keep moving, tombs collapsing, can't rest here, keep running, and as we get out, there's another thing goes into the next session. That session, we fight something. Gotta keep running. They're calling reinforcements. Our ship's broken. We gotta repair it. We can't rest here. And stuff like that. Like maybe like a sense of urgency going on like that. I don't really know if how that would work in reality, but it's like it's
It's
just
a
a
good idea.
suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, it's you guys don't know if there's gonna be more combat next session or not. So I don't know. Maybe there is a chance
I
of
feel
life-threatening
like
death.
I feel like that. I have a feeling that there may be one more thing after this. Maybe.
What's your prediction?
Well, I think I'm going by the rule of three. Dungeons usually there's usually like two combats that lead up to a final boss combat. We're going video game rules, and the third one is like the big one or something like that. That's just what I feel. That's not what I expect, but that's what I feel would happen.
Okay. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Maybe you guys, maybe you'll get your wish for a life-threatening situation. Who knows? I think well, not Maple. Oasis was like as soon as shit goes down and it gets dangerous, she's yeeting out of there, or like she's forcing the party to yeet out of there. So I don't know. Maybe you guys
I mean,
won't end up in that
it's
situation.
gotten dangerous, but I think she felt so good about one man arming
Oh,
those
she's riding the
elementals.
high right now.
Yeah, she's addicted. Hey, Oasis, I see you getting addicted to D&D, and I'm loving it. All right, first Ryan, now no Oasis. Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, next Maple, coming for you, Maple.
Oh, I think Maple's already experienced with D&D. It's not like he's
Yeah, but not
necessarily.
not this campaign. He's not in yet. I don't think.
Oh, you don't think he's in?
I
All
gotta
right,
pull him in.
all right.
I don't think he's in this campaign yet. No. Gotta pull him in. Gotta pull him in. We got stuff in the works. I got stuff in the works. Um, Speaking of combat versus roleplay, if you had to put a ratio on the amount of sessions we have pure roleplay versus the amount of sessions we have combat with them, what kind of numbers would you put on them?
I'd definitely say something like 1 out of 10 is probably combat.
1 out of 10?
Yeah.
That sounds. I don't think it's that. That's sparse, right?
Okay, what was the last?
I'd
What
say
was the last combat we had? It was the Aboleth, right?
no. It was the tomb, the vision combat, which wasn't. I guess you can't really call it combat. But before that, it would have been Aboleth. Yes.
Okay, the first proper combat we had, not barring the Vision, barring the Vision, was the Aboleth, and I can't remember how many sessions ago that was. I'm thinking it was at least 7 or 8.
I
That
think
was
it
a-
was. I think it was six sessions. 6 sessions.
and then the one before that was the Hags, right?
Hags. Yes. Yes. No, wait. No, it was Aboleth and then Hags. Right? Yeah. Aboleth, Hags, and then Vision. Because you got the watery curse from the Aboleth.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so it would have been
Uh,
Hags. Yeah.
Aboleth, 1, 2. They were pretty close to each other actually.
Yeah.
So Aboleth,
There were like
there was
one or two
just
sessions between each
one
other.
one session. I think it was just one. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
so
was
I
just
don't think
one.
it's that sparse.
And then from Hags, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is real good content. Me counting the
Yep.
sessions.
I'm just counting. I got you.
Okay,
Six.
I would say 1 and 6 then. 1 and 6.
1 and 6. Which is
Or 1 and 5 if we want a clean number.
yeah, I like 5. I mean, which is a actually really sparse number if you think about it, comparing it to other campaigns. But are you satisfied with a number like that, or would you like the ratio to just change?
Personally, I don't know. It feels like we haven't had combat in a long time, and this felt like a big payoff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn between this was really fun. I would like to do more, but I'm also like, this might have only been fun for this session. You know, if we have
Yeah,
it
it might
more,
have
we
only
might.
been fun because there was a build up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm a bit
Okay.
torn. I'm not really sure what the right decision is. I think keeping it as it is doesn't hurt, but I guess you just have to put a poll into the D&D Discord and see what the players want.
Or hey, other players in the comments below, leave a comment if you want to see more combat or more
Okay,
roleplay, please.
we've been asking for comments for like
Subscribe,
the last
like,
three and
press the
4
bell button, Gmail me.
podcasts. All right, even the players don't leave comments anymore, you know? All right. We're just going
They
to
never left
approach
comments.
we're gonna go into the Discord and we just ask them the question.
Yeah, give a yes no reaction thing. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy. Yeah, I enjoy doing combat. It's not as difficult as it was before. I'm a lot more lax in like making sure everything is like mechanically correct
Mm-hmm.
these days. So everything kind of goes a lot faster than it used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, combat speed. Was the combat speed fine for you?
Yeah, it was
Like the pacing?
it was like on the average side. It wasn't as quick as the Aboleth because everyone in the party was purposely like, okay, keep going. You know, trying
Keep swimming. Yeah, I
trying
got
to do trying to do like a lightning round, right? But this one was like, I think the players were just kind of scraping off the rust from their combat, and they were, you know, just taking stuff at a normal
remembering what
pace.
they can do and what they can't do.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed actually that kind of urgent pacing that Aboleth fight had. It kind of added another layer to combat that I can't really describe.
layer of tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that secondary goal, or that the goal isn't just to kill the Aboleth, it's just to get to the other side alive, right?
yeah.
Which is somewhat kind of lacking. Yeah. I mean that having a goal that's just not kill the enemy, it definitely adds another layer of immersion or enjoyment to the combat. This session, it was pretty much just kill the enemies. What did you think of the hazards, by the way? What do you think they added anything to, or was it just like another?
Like specifically the
Eh.
elemental hazards.
Yeah, or maybe just like the terrain in general for the outside combat as well.
I think the combat map was just a bit too big
Big? Yeah,
because
that's what
most
I
of
was
the
feeling.
combat was centered around near the entrance, which was the earth and wind, and then the elementals came to us as well. So yeah, it was just
Yeah,
a bit too concentrated in one area for the other hazards to be actually, something like that.
useful or
Yeah,
used at all.
useful. I think maybe if you had like more dynamic hazards, like I don't know, the earth elemental like smash the wall and the crack spread up to the ceiling, and then part of the ceiling dropped down on top of the party or something like that, and the party has to jump out
Yeah,
of the way,
that would be interesting.
or the water elemental water bends the water onto the floor and makes it all icy. So now part of the, like a changing battlefield. It felt pretty static. This battlefield.
Okay, okay,
Not that that was
okay.
thematically wrong, or like that was anything wrong. But I think like if you had intended for those to come into play in the combat, especially in a big open area, and the hazards didn't move, they were just like they had their own little quadrant. Um, yeah, I don't think they would be as
Okay, okay.
effective. Yeah.
So moving hazards, I got you.
Like
Dynamic battlefield, like dynamic battlefield. Yeah.
yeah, or like changing battlefield. That'd be cool. And especially
Okay.
like that can go both ways. Like you can give the players the options to affect the environment. Like if Storm comes up with a cool, or Oasis comes up with a cool way to affect the environment to their favor. Like there's a leaning tree branch, or there's a leaning tree that's about to break. You strike at the root of the tree, the trunk of the tree, and the tree falls down. It blocks off an area or falls on top of
Yeah.
an enemy. There's a lamp, and then like there's a pool of oil underneath. I don't know. You shoot the lamp, the oil goes on fire,
Classic. Classic.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to set up more of those kind of situations. So maybe next combat, a little more dynamic battlefield. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe there
Hmm.
really will be a final boss in that dungeon. Maybe it'll be
Hmm.
what's that Pokemon called? Regigigas, where
Regigigas,
it's
yeah,
where it's
yeah,
every element.
yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Um, yeah, it. I had fun. I think everyone else had um fun.
Hmm.
I can't really speak for everyone else, but I had an enjoyable time.
I feel like the everyone was enjoying the session. That's from my perspective. I
People
didn't
like
really.
rolling dice.
Yeah, people do like rolling high, rolling dice. Even though Tokul doesn't really roll that high that often, his dice are cursed. He
Oh
got
man, his dice are real cursed.
they, there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with
With the
him.
bubble gum,
He's
it's not working out for him.
he's been rolling low for like 4 sessions now, and he's got to get rid of those dice. They're crap.
Throw those out.
Dude,
Yeah.
go Chessex, all right. Buy Chessex dice, all right. Use your red dice.
Sponsor us. Sponsor us.
It's sponsored. Hey,
Get some metal dice. Sponsor us. Um, yeah. Do you have anything else you really want to talk about?
I think you wanted to talk about battle maps, but I think that was it,
Yeah,
right?
we kind of went
We
through.
kind
Yeah,
of
just
talked
the more
about that.
dynamic aspect of that. Yeah.
Uh, can't wait to see what's next. I think I had a feeling like I haven't had this feeling in a long time, but
Oh,
it was like feeling excited for looking forward to D&D. I kind of
you said
lost
you
that.
saying you haven't been
ca-
excited
I
recently?
kind of like D&D was kind of like something that happened, and then like it just goes back. I just go back to a normal like plateau state, and then it comes up again. Like I'm not. It's not that like I'm not enjoying D&D, but I'm not like
Oh yeah,
when I
you
think
justify yourself.
when I think about D&D now, I'm like, I can't wait. It's today's Wednesday, so we play D&D in 2 days, and that's not a feeling I've had since like the very early sessions we had back in 2018. And
Oh, that's
it's
a
not
long
really
time ago.
it's not really a feeling I have much about a lot of things nowadays. It's like it's a very nostalgic feeling, harkening back to childhood times when you're always
Days
excited
of
for
old.
yeah. I
Why do
don't
you
know.
think that is?
I don't. I think life is just too busy to be thinking. Like there's just too many things to be thinking about, and D&D is a good thing, and you should always be excited about D&D. But it's just maybe it's just not the case. You know what I mean?
I mean, why are you more excited now than before?
I think we're finally reaching a point where like I feel like everyone is starting to like find their groove
Groove.
in D,
Yeah.
and when everyone enjoys D&D, that helps your enjoyment of D&D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you
It's,
I think you said something really similar back when I ran L5R, like one of the last sessions. Um, you said that like everyone seemed to just really be enjoying it, so you enjoyed it as well. So yeah, that's
yeah.
this. I
It's
got
like
a
a
similar.
boost effect.
Yeah, I got a similar feeling from that.
Yeah. Um. So other than dynamic battle improvements and faster pacing, do you think there's anything else we can really jump on and improve within the next session or whatever?
Um, Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, that's a good sign. If it's not within your conscious mind, then it's probably not that big of a deal. Um, yeah, I think actually even I don't think players even took that long with their turns, right? I mean, other than I know like Ryan has to roll a shit ton of dice, and we can't really blame him for that. But like people, there's not much like people like picking through their spells like on their turn or anything. Most people know when their turn's coming up, and they're ready to do whatever they need to do. Um, I was actually really surprised that happened, to be
Hmm.
honest. Like I was expecting like just kind of like waiting for people to like figure out what they want to do. But it didn't really happen. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, there was a few like maybe Storm Oasis, like just doing a bit of reading, but it honestly didn't feel like that long. Like they took
Yeah,
that long with their turns. So
that's
yeah,
just like a mage thing though, right?
that is
Like
definitely a spellcaster thing.
spellcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because rogue you only got what one option, one option.
Yeah, you got a
Shoot,
couple
shoot.
options. You got move, shoot, or hide, and I'm
Classic.
honestly fine with that as long as I get my damage, my deeps, assassinate people. That's cool. That's cool for me.
Yeah, and you did get your fucking deeps. Holy fucking shit.
Got my deeps.
Um, was it too easy? You said there was no life threatening, but was combat too easy
Yeah, I
in
guess I
the?
guess in a sense that's another way to put it.
Okay, okay, all right. I see you. Okay, okay. You guys will all be fresh the next session. You'll all have your minds back together, so maybe combat can continue. Um, I mean I don't really know where it's going. There's still the pirates and shit. There's so many other things that are going on at the same time. Um, do you want me to give my percentage on improvisation versus
Yeah, let's
preparedness?
hear it. Let's hear it.
You don't think this is a bad idea at all?
I enjoy it. I didn't hear any complaints from the other players not enjoying it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Nobody spoke up about that.
Yeah.
So
So get in the
I guess that's fine.
comments. Get in the comments if you have a problem with it.
Hey,
Otherwise,
hey, you just
we run the
you just
show.
say
We run the show, okay?
okay. 95% prepared, 5% improv.
Ah, that sounds
It's the
about right.
switch. It's the
That sounds
switch.
that
Yeah,
sounds
because
about
it's
right.
just combat, just
Yeah.
combat. Yeah. I mean,
Did you
it's
expect? Sorry. Did you
no,
expect
go.
the pirate deal to go as peacefully as it did, barring the Wanty riders? Did you
Um,
expect to be an altercation with the pirates at all?
if if they found you guys on the ship, yes, I definitely expected there to be some kind of confrontation there. But in my head, the pirates this deal was a preordained thing, so they weren't gonna try and betray you or anything. Until they found secret forces hiding on the ship, which they didn't. Which you guys actually rolled really well on your stealth checks. Which was surprising to me, to be honest. So yeah, there was a chance of a confrontation, but there wasn't. And then the raiders came out,
You know,
the main raiders.
It was funny that the pirates didn't have a problem with the rest of the party once we came out. Like after the battle was done, they were just like, we're gonna get picked up. Don't we're not staying here." He didn't seem
Do you
at
do
all.
you, do you really think that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess they're pretty good liars then. Oh boy. Oh
Oh
boy. You
well,
guys are
there's
fools for leaving three pirates outside by themselves. Oh boy. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah. Neither do I. So I'm gonna find out next week.
Yeah.
And
I
if
mean,
those
they
pirates
come
ever,
back
if
up.
those pirates, a message to those pirates, if pirates ever think to mess with the party, okay, they're gonna get fucked up, okay? This is a message to the pirates, okay? This is not a message to the DM, this is a message to the pirates. You understand me? Albert, tell
Ah,
me you
yes. The
understand.
party.
This,
The
this is a
party.
this is a message
I
to
mean,
the
you're not
pirates,
talking to me.
okay?
You're talking to the
I'm
pirates.
talking to the pirates, alright? I'm talking to the pirates, alright? If the pirates want to mess around, steal shit, we're just going to come back right up and steal shit and open a big fat hole in your back, okay?
Yeah. With what spells?
With fireball, with my sword.
You ain't
I
got
got
no
an arrow.
fireballs.
I got an arrow that casts ice, alright? Freeze up your abdomen, kick it
How
out.
many of those do you have left? One?
Two.
Two? Okay. Okay.
No, one. I natural
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. You
A
guys.
bullet.
You guys are kind of running out of resources, huh?
Oh, and if the pirates think that just because we run out of spells and resources, that doesn't mean we don't do damage, okay? We got Ryan, okay? He doesn't do any spells, alright? He just fires a lot of bolts, alright? Get
He's out of
prepared.
action surge.
Get prepared
You don't
to
have
be
action
skewered
surge.
like an echidna, okay? This is a message to the pirates, not to the DM, to the pirates.
Oh, I'm sure they're listening. I'm sure they're tuning in right now.
Yeah, and don't even think that your reinforcements are gonna help, because we're just gonna do the same thing over to them as well. Rinse and repeat. R&R.
You guys are fucked. Well, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? You guys just want to go into that temple and get some booty. Get some treasure booty.
It's been a while
Clues
since we
to the next
did like
area.
a proper like dungeon run thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always wanted to do a mega dungeon, but I don't think this is the party for it. Maybe in a different campaign or a different world.
A mega
Nope.
dungeon.
A mega dungeon where it's literally just the dungeon for like a large majority of the campaign.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
you spent
do you
like
have any
months down there.
ideas? Do you have any ideas in your mind about that?
No, it's always just been cooking up, but you know, like the standard traps and maybe like little hovels and underground communities of various mishmash adventurers people have given up or whatever, and like bosses throughout. You know, like the standard old school first edition dungeon diving.
I think
know.
there's a module called Dungeon
Tomb
of
of
the Mad.
Annihilation. Oh, okay.
There's that one, and then there's Dungeon of the Mad King or something like that, which is
Hmm.
like a mega dungeon from levels 1 to
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. One day. One day. I don't think anybody in our party is that combat crazed. Maybe Maple would enjoy something like that. I don't know. But it'll be fun to play and fun to run at least. It's for the more, I guess, mechanically inclined, fighty type people.
Yeah, I
don't
mean
know.
it sounds interesting. Like I'm looking forward to like the craziness of D&D, you know what I mean? Like when shit really like starts getting real crazy. Real crazy stuff. It
Yeah.
seems pretty like pretty low-ish fantasy. Like we have floating crystals and airships and a big thing. But like combat wise and like truly zany, like very high fantasy stuff, I don't think we've really had much of as yet.
Yeah, I just can't wait until you guys get like teleport or something, where you guys can go wherever you want. Not have to prepare for any kind of situation.
Hey, you
Oh
better start
God!
writing
Oh
now.
Jesus!
You gotta start writing now.
Jesus! I don't know what I'd do when you guys get teleported. I was like, oh, you guys are going over here now. Oh,
I
shit.
think you can only teleport to certain locations, like certain ports. Like
I don't know. I haven't done enough research.
certain circles. I think.
That's teleportation circle. Teleport. You can go wherever you want.
Oh really?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Teleportation circle. You guys are already high enough level to use teleportation circle. I just don't think Maple has it. But you know, what happens, I guess. And I don't know if you guys are gonna be leveling for a little while. You guys
We're
level what,
still
9 now? 10?
still level
9?
9, I think. I think.
You guys leveled up 4 or 5 sessions ago, so by standard judgment, if you're level 10, level 9, what, 40, session 40? I don't know, maybe session 50 something, 55, 56, level 10?
Yeah,
Not for a while.
we're reaching a full year's worth of sessions soon. Session 52 would be, if we were to run for a whole year continuously, would have been 52
Yeah.
sessions.
Yeah, which is actually really rare. Like, if you read, like, random Reddit posts where they only ever play for, like, 20 sessions or whatever. It's kind of incredible how we've had a really long-running campaign, even though it did kind of stop in the middle for a while.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
I think we're really lucky to have the party that we do. We don't have real like that guys in our parties, like
That guy.
all the Reddit horror stories.
Yeah,
and
I'm starting to think that guy is a myth. You know? I've never met that guy, so he doesn't exist to me.
Well, I think we're both lucky because I think I just think we're both lucky to not to have to experience someone like that.
That guy.
And I think that definitely comes from people who can't find enough players to play. And we've
They
never,
get desperate.
yeah, we've never gotten up to the point where we're like just taking in anyone. I mean, wait, maybe.
I mean,
Wait a
I mean,
sec-
that
wait,
was
wait a
kind of
second,
a point. Hey, I won't say your name, but play D&D with us, please.
hey,
Please.
hey,
Anonymous, play D&D.
Strawberry,
Yeah.
play D&D.
Hey. A little too on the nose there. I mean, I guess
But that was a joke though. That was a joke. That
yeah.
so for context, we tried to rope Albert's cousin into playing, and I think it was a joke. But like, I think you're now misremembering it, like thinking I was serious or something like that.
Oh
I
no.
was not serious.
Oh no.
But that was back
no.
during the times where we only had 3 players.
The Dark Ages.
The
The
original
golden
3.
Dark Ages.
But yeah, and then Lewis came on, and then from Lewis, Aiden was like, "Oh, if Lewis is playing, I want to play." And then Zoe, who also knows Lewis, she's like, "Oh, you guys are in a campaign, I want to play." And then it's like, "I got a guy coming to play as well." And
It's Maple.
I think we spoke
We cap
about
it.
this in
We cap it.
I think we spoke about this in
Yeah.
a past podcast, but it was
My max
originally
limit.
you were like 6 players is like the max. It's like the max, right? And and then at the end, this was the earlier in the day before the session, and then after the session, Aiden was like, "Oh yeah, there's a guy interested in playing. Can he play?" And you're like, and I look at you, I'm like, "Hey,
I'm taking back my
what
word
did you
right
say?
now.
What did you say just now?"
Look, I think I was still riding that high where we're still like, we need more players. We just need more people to play with us. That's like little gremlins who need friends. And I was just like, okay, fuck it. We need more players. Give me more players. And then we hit 7 players, and I was like, oh shit, we have a lot of players. But now we're back at 6 for a while, so I think it's simmered down a little bit.
But we will be back at 7 soon.
Yeah, we will be back
We
at
will
7.
be.
Soon.
Yeah. Isaac, come back already.
Yeah, our bookkeeper, our crazy cultist bookkeeper. I think that person, I mean, you know, that guy. I think the reason we haven't like picked up that guy is because I think all of our players actually, they've never played D&D before. They're not the type to have played D&D before, so therefore they cannot be that guy, right?
I think apart from Maple, who has played before, no one had played before. This was their first campaign. And this goes for everyone.
So if you're a veteran at D&D, you're more likely to kind of be that guy. Is that mean to say?
I think it could possibly that is a factor, but it's also like I think that guy also is like a personality thing. Like
Yeah.
You want everything. You know, you're kind of selfish kind of guy.
Yeah, and we don't associate with that type of guy, which is why we don't know anybody like that, I guess. Or
Yeah.
know anybody
That-
with
and
invites D&D like that.
that's what exactly why. That is exactly why I think we're lucky, because we've never even had the chance to encounter that guy.
Thank God. Thank God.
And everyone's pretty cool. Everyone's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's all I really have to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. It's a shorter podcast.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
For a shorter-ish session, mostly
I checked
combat.
our emails. We don't have any emails.
Oh, I've given up on the
Well,
emails.
yeah, well, we made that email for what? For what reason?
You know what? We make our podcast just for the two of us, okay? Just so we can just talk with justification, okay?
I want communication. I want other people. But yeah, it's for us.
We need to do some marketing if we want other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But we ain't gonna
Okay.
do marketing, so
No,
not gonna
we're
happen.
Not. We're not. All right, let's call it here.
We've been Far Kingdoms. Join us next week for the next episode of Far Kingdoms.
Episode 12. Bye.
See ya.